All right, today we're going to talk about something that gets a lot of us into trouble, pride and vainglory. I mean, these are two of the most destructive forces in our lives, right? To really get a handle on just how damaging they can be, we're actually going to look back, way back, to some ancient wisdom that, you'll see, is more relevant today than ever. So, let's dive right in.
So the whole idea we're exploring here kicks off with a pretty bold claim. It says that, a lot of our problems, the conflicts inside of us and the ones we have with other people, they don't just happen randomly. Nope, they come from a faith that's kind of lost its way, one that's become all about us, about our own ego, instead of something bigger.
And to really get to the heart of this, we're not going to browse the modern self-help section. No, we're going way, way back, all the way to the 7th century. Our guide for this journey is a Christian mystic and writer, a guy named Sahdona. And trust me, his insights are going to feel shockingly powerful even today.
Now, the writer who brought this ancient text back into the spotlight, Yusuf Beğtaş, he makes a really great point. He says, look, we're tapping into wisdom that's been echoing for more than 1,000 years. And it all kicks off with one single question, a question that honestly cuts just as deep today as it did back then.
And yeah, Sahdona, he does not pull any punches. He just comes right out and asks us directly, "O weak human, on what grounds do you exalt yourself?" I mean, think about that. He's asking you, this fragile being, what exactly gives you the right to be so proud? What is it that you think makes you so great? Just let that one sink in for a second.
Okay, so starting with that really powerful question, he then begins to just systematically take apart all the usual things we build our pride on, all the pillars of our ego. And he starts with a big one that's super common.
So, what about your family? Are you proud of your noble ancestry, your lineage, the family name you carry? I mean, for a lot of people, that's a huge source of identity. But Sahdona, well, he has a pretty humbling reminder for all of us. He basically says, look, you can have the grandest family tree in the world, but at the end of the day, you come from the same dusty lineage of Adam. We all share that same origin, and we're all headed to the same destination. Our beginnings and our endings, they're exactly the same.
Okay, fine. So maybe not family. But what about something more tangible? Your wealth, your power, the money you've made, the influence you have. Surely that's a solid reason to be proud, right? Yeah, nope. His answer is just as blunt. He says, know this, you will depart from it naked, like a traveler. You're just passing through. When it's time to go, you leave it all behind. You take nothing with you. All that wealth and power, it's just a temporary loan. And he just keeps going down the list. What about your physical strength? He says that changes just like the weather. Okay, how about your beauty? Well, he gets brutally honest here and asks us to think about what we eventually become, something people literally run away from. And your big brain, your knowledge, and how well you speak? He says you haven't even begun to know what you ought to know. Ouch. But this next part? This is where it gets really tricky. This is the most subtle trap of them all. Because what if you've managed to get past all that worldly pride? What happens if the thing you're proud of is being a good person? Yeah, this is the final boss of pride, right? You do all the right things. You're righteous, you're holy. You might think, hey, I've earned the right to feel good about my own virtue. But according to Sahdona, this is the exact moment you can lose it all. And here is the gut punch. He says, "Oh, miserable man, with your vainglory you have cast away your wealth." It's a paradox, isn't it? The second you become proud of your good work, poof, it's nullified. Your spiritual wealth just vanishes like a dream when you wake up. The pride itself completely cancels out the virtue you were so proud of in the first place.
So, let's recap. If we can't be proud of our family, our money, our power, or even our own goodness, then what in the world is left? Well, this leads us to the absolute core of the whole argument. It all comes down to a fundamental question of ownership.
This right here, this is the pivot point for everything we're talking about. Sahdona asks, why are you proud of these things? Are they truly yours? I mean, really, why are you taking credit for any of it? Did you make it yourself? From nothing? Is any of it really yours?
And he drives this point home with an absolutely killer quote from the Apostle Paul. What do you have that you did not receive? And if you did receive it, why do you boast as though you did not? Wow. Think about that. Everything you have is a gift. And if it's a gift, it makes zero sense to brag about it like you earned it or created it yourself. That changes everything, doesn't it? So with that in mind, let's run through that list one more time, but through this new lens. Your lineage, chosen and honored by God. A gift. Your wealth, it's His, you're just looking after it. Your strength, established by Him. Your beauty, adorned by Him. Your wisdom, given by Him. See, it's a total shift from I own this to I'm grateful for this.
Okay, so what does all this wisdom from the 7th century actually mean for us? Right here, right now. The modern author who compiled this really brings it home with a clear, practical conclusion. It's all about the consequences of choosing one of two very different paths.
And the breakdown is incredibly simple. You've got two choices. On one side, you have pride, or shulio in the original Syriac. That path, it always breeds conflict, both inside you and with everyone around you. But on the other side, you have humility, mikitocho, and that's the path that leads to real success and inner peace.
So really, this all leads to a final call to action. If you are genuinely seeking success in your life, the first, most important step isn't building yourself up. It's the opposite. It's about trampling on your own pride and that need for vainglory. Which leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. After going through all of this, if everything is a gift, our talents, our wealth, our successes, even our goodness, then what truly is ours to be proud of? What's actually left that we can claim as our own? Definitely something to think about.